hello there.
Well, hello.
Welcome back.
Well, hello.
everyone, to the Triforce podcast. That's right. Two dads and a adoptive dad. I feel like many people just think I'm their dad now.
Right.
So that's how I am.
Do you think you could realistically dad your way out of a wet paper bag, though? Because I have doubts.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I think if push came to shove, I imagine you're the kind of dad, and there are dads
I'm not
like
really
that
the
out
wet
there.
wiping, nose wiping, generally wiping dad.
I see you as you're like the dad who's just sort of curled up in the fetal position in the corner crying.
I'm one of those posh dads who has a nanny. You know? And I see the children in my study when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Send in the children. I line them up in front of the fireplace.
Like the dad from Mary Poppins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one are you? David, yes. Good to see you. Good. You're looking good. Your hair's a bit long. And you? Cynthia. Okay, good. Well, it's just good to see you too. How's your school doing? All right, well, take them away. We'll see them again in 6 months. See how they've been getting on. Off to boarding school.
Scary.
Off and away.
I know a few people have sent their kids to
done.
boarding school, and I still don't understand it. Why would you have kids and then ship them to boarding school? If you're both fabulously
to turn them into a cunt, people.
Come on, you've been
like
tempted before, though, right?
Well,
No,
boarding school
never.
made me a massive cunt, so I want my children to become what I am.
I just think
go
it's
on,
awful.
off you go.
I just think it's awful. How could you do it?
We use that one as like a kind of like a threat in the house, you know, when the children are misbehaving. You know, if there's like misbehaving, like I usually do like the role play thing where I like pretend to pick up the phone. I was like, "Hello, boarding school. Yes, I've got two here that would love to come and spend a lot of time with you." But no, I mean, I would never send my kids to boarding school, but it's nice to have it as a threat for sure. You know, when they're acting wild and crazy around bedtime and stuff like that.
It's prison for kids. Let's call it what it is. It's prison for kids.
Some people can make it out normal, but most people get a bit weird. So a lot of people get a bit weird. Very Hogwartsian, isn't it? The idea of it as well, like slightly kind of, I don't know, like kind of.
I think it's
a whole
terrible.
thing.
Terrible for kids' mental health. I really believe that. Because if you think about it, like when my kids go to school, quite often they come home and there's a problem with some other kid at school. Because you're stuck with other kids at school. You know, the people in your class or whatever, you're stuck with them. So that's it. It's like, it's good training for having to put up with shitty colleagues because you're stuck with them. That's it. That's your job.
Yeah,
you could leave your job, but it's not always convenient. At school, you've got even less choice. You're stuck with these other kids. And if you're getting bullied, you're fucked.
But do you reckon it's a little bit? It is like prison, though. Prison rules. You know, you have to figure out as a society, the structure builds itself, and you know, that's why the old boys network's so powerful. Once you leave, you know, because you've made all these frenemies that you kind of stay in touch with and compete with for the rest of your life, and they're all very successful.
Also, they've all been through the same thing.
What's Tarquin doing? Oh, well, Tarquin's in banking now.
Banking,
is he?
Yes. Well, but they've all been through the same thing, so there might be some kind of like
camaraderie.
Yeah, like a, you know, brothers in arms kind of thing. Like they've been through that.
Or maybe camaraderie because of all the weird because that's very sexually charged. I feel like boarding school, right? Like you're going there at a time where you're just hitting puberty, so like you can imagine everybody's just jacking off all the time and stuff, and like
constantly.
exploring their bodies and sexuality, but away from home as well, which is kind of weird too.
Yeah, but these days you've got your phone. You can just as long as you can get a bit of privacy. I don't know if you really get that much privacy at boarding school. You know, there's someone always watching you wherever you are, kind of thing.
Yeah, I always felt like at boarding school, the biggest bullies would be the teachers, right? Like I know we talked about Whiplash briefly last week, but like I imagine most boarding schools to be like the movie Whiplash, with like just crazy teacher or like headmaster that just psychologically bullies you the whole time that you're there, and none of the other kids even get
prison guards. I guess
none of the other kids even get a chance. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you don't go to boarding school, other kids are definitely the problem, bullies and stuff like that. The teachers just can't control.
I think
anything.
you get if one who didn't go to boarding school got a picture of it when you went on a school trip overnight somewhere and the teacher was staying with you, you know, in some hotel or some, you know, big place where we did it a bunch when we went to France on these overnight school trips. There would be some Olympic, you know, like kind of changing rooms, like, you know, like, I don't know, it would be some sort of apartments for of students or whatever, and it wasn't being used because it was summer, and it was kind of shit.
Like the dormitories for like the Commonwealth Games or something. You mean?
Yes, that's what it felt like. We were staying in, and we'd all have to sort of troop around, and the teacher would be trapped there with us unwillingly, kind of thing, in some slightly smaller or nicer room, but still having to bunk down with fellow teachers in this kind of, it was a very like wartime.
I feel like it's either unwillingly or overly exaggeratedly,
didn't
willingly.
quite know what to expect and how much they were going to have to share with who,
I guess.
I'm not thrilled about the prospect of school trips for my kids. Like, we don't really leave our kids with anybody, or we don't really leave them anywhere alone.
You're going to be recruited to, supervise them, because they have to have one adult per 6 kids or whatever.
I mean, I don't want to do that either, but
you're going to get volunteered.
I would do it if it meant that my kids were staying over somewhere with a bunch of strangers and stuff. I would definitely volunteer. But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing.
There's going to be one kid who's being sick, and there's going to be one kid who's like shit themselves.
Yeah,
fuck, it's gonna be awful.
Kid crying because they want to go home and stuff. Like, there's always
it's like we've only been gone for 2 hours.
Yeah.
we're not even left the
bus yet. Oh man.
Well, my kids this week have been. They went to Bath with my mum.
Oh, nice.
I was going to be going with them, but I thought I had COVID because a colleague of Mrs. F's had it, so I was very worried. So I was just like, I was a little worried. I didn't want my mum. Last time she was here, she got a cold. It lasted like 8 weeks or something. She had to get all these antibiotics and all the rest of it. She caught something from the kids.
Holy crap.
I'm just wary of her age giving her a cold or anything like that. But it turns out I'm okay. Like, I don't think I'm ill at all. I've got maybe a tiny cold, but nothing serious. But they went anyway. They were going to stay.
Got a nervous click, though. I can tell you're clicking the mouse.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I feel very guilty about the fact that on the Monday night, I was like, I probably could go down with them. But they'd all committed to going down, just the 3 of them.
Well, this sucks, right? Because it's like almost like you were the boy who cried wolf. Or you made an excuse to get out of it. But you actually kind of wanted to go.
Man,
I wouldn't have minded. Yeah.
If you made it down, I was going to come and see you.
You can't spend your whole life feeling bad. Just enjoy the peace and quiet while you can. Like, you get a couple of days of peace and quiet.
Well, they're pretty quiet. I'll be honest with you. You've got little kids. It's different. I remember having that, and I was like, oh man, I need a break. But now it's more of, I'm aware of the fact that in 5 years' time, more or less, my eldest is going to leave to go to university, right?
Flee the nest, leave the roost.
Months at a time.
Yeah.
And that scares the hell out of me.
That's scary. Yeah. Well, I was talking to my wife earlier about something I read on Reddit, and it was about people with street smarts, explaining street smarts to people without street smarts. Right.
I love the term street smarts.
Yeah. So it's people who have experience living in like a really big city or living in like a pretty rough neighborhood, and some like little tips and tricks for people who are completely out of their depth with that. Yeah, clueless. Like, I live in a really small place. Not much happens over here. We don't really have to be overly careful about even locking our doors if we don't want to. Like, we do, obviously, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a pretty sleepy place, very low crime rate, low, there's not that many, like, social issues, if you like, sort of thing, you know what I mean? It's not like there's not big areas of like people who are clearly like not earning as much as others or whatever, like it's a fairly affluent place, and my kids are being raised here as well,
right? And
we were just saying one day they're going to go to university, and they're going to go somewhere like to like Manchester or something, and like, what the fuck are they gonna do? Like, like, I've never been to Manchester. I know parts of it probably aren't great or whatever. Like, my kids aren't going to be used to a big city, let alone having to worry about like, what parts of that city are places they don't want to go and stuff like that. And I guess kids are a lot more versatile than that, especially like when they become teenagers, becoming adults as well, because you always think of them in the terms of, they're 10 years old. And obviously they're not always going to be 10 years old. Right. But man, it still worries the shit out of me to think that they're just going to be out there in the world.
Well, are you worried that they're like isolated and they're not going to know these street smarts because they're like boarding school kids? They'd be coddled in the luxury of the Jersey Island, being safe from
like a little bit.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't think it is either, but I think it's a valid thing to worry about as a parent. Like you're unsure, right? Like I grew up near a fairly big city, and I have experience living in a city and stuff, and I feel like it wasn't a problem for me, sort of thing. But I just worry that like maybe my kids won't be ready for that, or it's just another layer of things that they have to get used to, or something. I'm probably worrying for no reason, but
I don't think you're worrying for no reason. I think it's obviously completely valid concern. Anytime a parent is concerned for their kid's well-being, I think is valid, genuinely.
Yeah.
And sometimes people that know better might just need to assuage their fears and say, look, don't worry, it's fine, it's not what you think or whatever. But if my kids went to a town or a city that had particularly rough parts, I'd think, well, London has a lot of those, but they haven't been in those areas.
No, of course.
I would hope that they would have common sense, and the people that they would hang out with would have common sense. But it's very hard to say. I know that if you don't learn at some point, you're going to be an idiot the rest of your life. In a way, you have to learn sometimes the hard way. Hopefully not in the worst of ways. But if they go to the wrong area and their phone gets nicked and they get pushed around or punched or something like that, that sucks. But they survived it, and hopefully they will fucking learn their lesson and be more careful. I'm always very careful when I'm out and about. I like to think that I'm quite clued in about looking out for danger, spotting it. You can tell the difference between people who are just having a laugh and something that's about to turn nasty. And, you just sort of get a feel for that stuff. But it's not like when I was 13, I had any fucking idea about that, I'm sure.
No, of course not.
But you learn these things.
It is hard. I mean, sometimes you're on guard permanently, and you can't live like that, right? Like when I went to Rome, I felt like it was just permanently on guard, partly because of the harassment of like the street sellers and stuff like this, the like other bits and bobs. And I'd heard one of my friends their bag had been pickpocketed or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like and so as a result, like I was just on high alert that whole time, and I never really could settle back and enjoy it, like everywhere.
I always feel like it's a bit different for you though, because you've got like a $3,000 a day cocaine habit, so you're always going to be dealing with.
He's dipping in that neighborhood.
Unsavory types wherever you go.
So my normal feeling is just heightened, right? My normal light anxiety turns into mega stress.
And not only that, you have to put yourself into situations to acquire the white gold. So you have to go. Seek out the dealers and stuff, and that's going to take That's going to take you down some odd paths.
Yeah, well, I found that if you ask security guards, doormen, like food cart owners, those types of people, they're a good source because they usually sort of know.
Yeah.
Actually, weirdly though, one of the things I was told was that those types of people know where the nearest bathrooms are, right? And so you can always, because as we get older...
you read the thread as well. That was one of the tips.
We find ourselves caught short more often.
What did you think about the tip of if you're walking down a road in the middle of the night and it's really dark, walk in the middle of the road. Don't walk on sidewalks or anywhere close to like the openings of side roads or alleys or whatever. Just walk in the middle of the street.
Like it's a fucking Alien movie or whatever.
It's pretty sensible, actually.
I don't know. It just feels.
I think that kind of makes you stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, but
I always just try to keep my head down and hurry on.
Think about it. If you were the type that was lurking in an alley trying to grab somebody, you're not going to run out into the middle of the road and grab them, are you? You're just going to.
I don't think people lurk in alleys as much as patrol. Like certainly,
they probably don't.
Areas,
maybe, but
like around here, you see, like on my little neighborhood WhatsApp group, where we sort of post all our Ring doorbell captures of sullen youths, looking shifty. They're always walking up and down the road slowly, looking, because most of them are looking for something easy to steal then and there. Yeah. They don't want to fucking have to spend an hour in an alleyway like a hunter, because if no one comes along, what a waste of time. They might have missed out on something. So you cover as much ground as you can in what you consider soft areas that have high target potential for either bumping into someone who you can mug, or someone's left their bike unchained, or a fucking window is open. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with the alleyway theory, because who's gonna fucking hang out in an alleyway? Maybe if you were in the middle of town, on a Saturday night, they're looking for some drunk walking past that they can bump into the alleyway. But I've been approached. I'm sure this has happened to other people listening to this. This is a famous con, especially happens around train stations, coach stations, bus stations. The guy comes up to you, and you will have heard this one instantly. Can you help me? I've lost my wallet. I just need £8 to get the ticket to get home. Give me your name and address. I'll mail you the money. And they always say, just come over here, down here, and we'll do it down this alleyway. Like, that's the angle. They want to get you to come with them down an alleyway to sort this deal out, give them the money, and at that point, they knock you on the head and take your wallet, I guess. Like, that's the plan, right? If you fall for that, that's not street smarts. That's just being too nice and trusting and thinking, oh, this poor fellow, I must help him. Like, that's the kind of con. They're looking for mugs. And the way they do it is not hanging out in an alleyway. They go somewhere busy and they appear friendly, and then they lure you away with the promise of something else. A friend of mine,
maybe in the case of mugging, but I was more thinking like people trying to grab you into darker side streets and stuff to like assault you and stuff. You know,
but I still, even then, I think they're either on patrol, or they will find a way to get you to that place,
isolate you somehow
under other false pretenses, sort of thing.
Sure, but I think if you're walking in the middle of the road, it's probably a good one, because they're not even going to really run out to the road to even talk to you in the first place, right?
Well, not without stopping and looking both ways very carefully.
Exactly.
They'll look left, they'll look right, they'll look left again. By that point, you're long gone. So
even criminal families teach their children the Green Cross code.
There was another really interesting thread relating to this, and it was I'm assuming it was a woman's posting a thread saying, what would you do if you were walking down the street and a woman approached you with like utmost familiarity, you know, talking to you like as if you were friends, but you'd never seen this person before?
Am I a woman or am I a man in this scenario?
You're a man in this situation.
I'm me in this scenario.
Yeah, and a woman comes up to you and is being very friendly and like saying things like, "Oh, hey, it was really great catching," or like, "Hey, what's up? It's you," you know, like coming over to you, like hugging you and stuff like that.
Triforce fan would be my first.
They're like
thought.
the bots or like the Tinder prostitutes. You
no,
know,
but apparently this is like a sort of thing that people can do.
They're trying to sell you some speakers.
No, they're trying to say like, please fucking help me. Somebody is like stalking me or following me around or whatever, and I just need to attach myself to somebody to throw them off. You know, because like the minute I'm not in the mind of a stalker or whatever, but I'm assuming that like the minute they see them meet up with like, you know, somebody that they're familiar with or whatever, then it's like, okay, well, game over. I'm not going to be able to, you know, mug this person or apprehend them or whatever.
Well, I would certainly hope that they would be able to whisper something. Yeah. Something like, just pretend you know me, please. This guy's really creepy.
Well, I think that happens too, but
I've just come from the gym where I can lift 400 kilograms easily over my head with one hand. Absolutely. Let's stroll home. I could carry you if you needed. And of course, I have my gun as ever.
But it'd be weird though, right?
Because filling in.
I'd like to think that I would be like, you know, in on it. I would know what was going on, and I would be like, okay, this person needs like some help, and I can just easily pretend that I'm friends with them to help them or something. But part of me would always be like, I'm getting fucking scammed here, or I'm getting set up. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
I thought you were going to warn us about some sort of scam, but
yeah,
no, this has happened to me. But when I was, you know, with my partner, so it was like, people have approached us as a couple. I think that's a safer bet, right?
Yeah, because if you pick the wrong guy, he's like, I'm a pervert too.
Well,
you're an honest man here.
That's out of the frying pan into the fire.
Exactly.
You can't roll the bad dice.
That's like you're
twice.
running away from Frankenstein. You bump into a lad, he turns around, it's Dracula. It's like, whoa, I'm in big trouble here.
I think a lot of the time, though, it's actually, you know, you're in a bad neighborhood, there's a load of guys around, you're like, uh-oh, my car can't start. And they surround the car, and you're like, uh-oh. And they're like, do you need help? We can push you if you want. And you're like, oh, that would be great, thanks. You know, it's mostly like good stuff that comes out of these types of situations, right? It's not like I was watching this old documentary, Touching the Void. Do you remember this? We talked about it, I think, on the Triforce podcast before, about the guy who, those young men who were like climbing in the Andes.
Oh,
and one of them had got injured, and so his friend sort of cut the rope and abandoned him. Young men.
I am ditching at the start of the trip. Like, we turn up there in the 4x4, we got all the gear, and before we take one step to climb this perilous mountain, I'm like, lads,
man,
I'm going home. Good luck.
I'm not even in the 4x4. I've called in sick before the 4x4 has even left the city. I'm just like, no, I'm not going climbing nothing.
There's this guy that they meet like halfway up the mountain, you know, who's like at the base camp a bit, and he's the guy who's there, like, and so they sort of introduce him and they talk about him and he's involved. And I was like, does he kill them? Like, is he, because I'd sort of forgotten. I was like, is he the bad guy now? But of course not. No, he's just a random guy that they just happen to like have in this story. And he's not really involved. He's there. They climb the mountain. One of them falls and injures himself. The other one comes back, and then the injured one manages to crawl back despite having a broken leg and like frostbite and like completely fucked. And it's an epic story, totally amazing story, classic documentary.
I think they're fucking idiots, but carry on. Idiots.
But yeah,
don't go
obviously.
Up there. What are you doing? I've got no time for you.
They're adventurers. They're young.
It's stupid.
But partly this was like so sort of reading about it a bit, relevant to today. One of the guys was really interested in climbing because he had a sort of teacher at school, and he really got into climbing, and his parents sort of forbade him from climbing. You know, it said, oh, it's too dangerous, you can't do it. And as a result, he ended up becoming a climber, right? Because you can't really do that. Like, if you like deny something that someone's passionate about, all it's going to do is deepen that passion.
If there's stubborn assholes who don't listen to their parents. I wanted a motorcycle for years, Lewis, and my mum forbade it, and now Mrs. F forbids it. I'm not going to get one. I'm not going to be like, I'm doing it because you don't want me to. That's not human nature. That's being a dickhead. Maybe that's good advice that your parents are giving you. Please don't climb the mountain. Just two of you, you're going to die. Oh, now you've made me do it. Look what you've done. That's projecting. That's your own failures. You're projecting onto other people for trying to help you. I say bullshit.
Okay. Okay, well, look, I think sometimes it works. I think sometimes it doesn't. Did you really want a motorbike that bad, P-Flax? Was that your thing? Were you collecting motorbike magazines and,
slept with a tiny model of a motorcycle every night.
Really?
And my poster of Erica Olenek that I had on my wall when I was a young lad, I replaced her head with a motorcycle helmet, and her boobs were tires. So yes, very much so.
Right.
Did you have like a biker nickname?
I was called the Bald Eagle.
Very good.
Very prescient.
Wow.
Very prescient.
Very prescient. Yeah. Do you reckon that was like contributed to it? You just always, had that dream and it came true without like you realizing, like subconsciously?
The helmet is very sheer. Doesn't have any hair. It's quite shiny.
Yeah, I was going to say.
In a way, I've crafted my entire look around.
Yeah, you look like you just got a full-time bike helmet on in some ways, right?
Yeah. Look like I'm wearing a very, very, very shiny hat.
Yeah.
Have you got like any kind of like tattoos of like chains or like fiery birds?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got Harley Davidson tattooed across my back.
Like flames rising from your wrists up your arms or something like that?
All of that, yeah. Cool. Born to Ride.
Yeah, like
I have a tattoo of a chopper motorcycle on my actual chopper, meaning my penis right there. Yeah.
Nice.
I've never heard it referred to as a chopper before.
Do you want to hear something else?
Go on, I'd love to.
We got some emails for the Triforce podcast. I don't normally do the mailbag to the end, but I'm intrigued.
This is one of those ones where I haven't prepared anything.
No, we prepared nothing. It's clear.
He's loving this, man. Big shout out to the mailbag. Big ups. I think this week's big ups for the mailbag, because last week the mailbag delivered the gold, I feel like. And this week...
Well, we've got some crackers this week. One of them is a very angry email, not directed at us.
Right.
Well, not all of us anyway, which is why I'm going to read it. I am the good guy in this.
Really? Okay, this will be interesting.
Which is really, first.
Who's the bad guy? Is it Lewis?
It's Lewis.
Okay, good.
And Brendan Sanderson is also the bad guy in that email.
Oh, wow.
I'll come to that one in a second.
Okay.
This is from a guy, he's called Max. He says, love the show. Whenever he's doing something mundane, he listens to the show. So he says, I study marine science in South New Zealand. Here is a cool thing I learned today I would like to share. The water in the Mediterranean Sea gets evaporated in the high temperatures, which leaves behind salt, because you can't have salt in a gas. The salt builds up over time to make really salty water, which sinks to the bottom of the sea and then spills into the Atlantic Ocean. The same thing happens at the North and South Pole, where ice locks up fresh water and leaves behind salt. This sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and then over thousands of years will circulate to the other pole. That's it. I don't know why that's quite so fascinating to Max, but
right.
I guess we mentioned salt water at some point. I think we might have done.
Is the Mediterranean saltier? Did we ask that then? Is that why?
I think
it is.
Is it the Dead Sea? Is that
that's the saltiest one,
salty.
Right? You float like crazy in that one,
right? But that, I mean, I think it's not a lake, is it? It's connected to other things, isn't it? The Dead Sea.
It is a salt lake.
It's a lake.
It's
All
a
right.
big
Well,
salt
then
lake.
That ain't leaking anywhere. But it's certainly the places where there's the most evaporation.
Do you think Salt Lake City is jealous about that one?
Well, they got a city
because they named their whole city after a smaller Salt Lake. You know, like
yes, true. But we all know Salt Lake. Like Salt Lake City. It's a great name, Salt Lake City. It just happens to be home to the Mormons.
Yeah, that's where the Mormons are from, yeah.
Yeah.
The Great Salt Lake, it's about half as salty as the Dead Sea, it turns out. So its salinity is only 142 grams per kilogram, which is still quite salty.
Right.
As opposed to the Dead Sea, which is 337.
Just bear in mind, the Americans are very good salespeople.
Yeah.
They can sell anything, right? So we when you hear Salt Lake City, you think, well, this place must be unbelievably salty. The Dead Sea.
Oh man. Okay, I see your Dead Sea, and I raise you one session on Don't Starve Together. Oh my god, I had such a meltdown the other day playing it. It was unbelievable.
It's because it's a garbage game.
What are you doing back in there, you maniac?
I know.
Here's another email. Okay, hi Pyrion. This is from Lois.
Lois.
In the Lois, not
Hi.
Lewis, Lois.
Lois.
In the latest Triforce, Lewis was arguing that no one is doing filing as a job. And you said, meaning me, that someone is doing filing right now listening to this. I was.
Yeah, there you go.
I work for the NHS, so I can't take any pictures.
I also had a few tweets about this.
As it would go against GDPR rules.
It still happens. They're not going to phase out filing anytime soon, guys, okay? I'm just saying.
Hold your horses there, young fella.
Even to transfer paper documents over to digital, that is filing.
Right, so listen, imagine a huge warehouse filled with rows of filing cabinets of medical files. My job is to mostly find the files, file them away at the end of the day for a few hours. It's boring, but listening to Triforce podcast makes it more bearable. Anyway, Fun fact, there is a team here slowly scanning each file so that in the future, all medical records will be digital.
There you go.
If worked out, it will take 10 to 15 years just to scan the files they already have, which only covers the records for the two main hospitals in Lois's local area. So it's going to take 10 to 15 years just for the ones they've already got. And meanwhile, there's new ones coming in all the time. It's going to take forever to do this. And then I guess eventually, at the end of the day, you will be digitizing that day's files rather than having to go back and digitize old ones. But there you go. So they are working on it. It's just going to take time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's cool though. Like, I mean, I guess you free up a lot of space because those filing areas are a huge amount of space, aren't they? Like, but then again, in America, space is like, fuck it. There's, there's so much space. You can just throw up a gigantic warehouse.
But then you have then there's like the carbon footprint though, right? Of you save space, but then you need more servers and more power and stuff, right? So there's trade-offs too.
True.
Maybe we should not be doing this, is what I'm saying. Maybe.
Wasting their time. 15 years. For what? A load of old dead grandma's medical records. Who cares?
Yeah.
I do not agree with this sentiment. Okay,
no,
for anyone listening.
I'm just joking.
They're only joking.
I was joking.
Please.
Yeah.
Lewis
Lake
probably isn't
Retba,
joking.
No, Lewis
in Nigeria, in Senegal, meaning Lake Retba or Lac Rose in the Cap Vert Peninsula of Senegal is even saltier than the Dead Sea, 400. Wow. But the saltiest place is a place called Gate Ale Pond, a hypersaline lake near the Dalol crater in the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia.
Okay.
It is located over a hot spring of tectonic origin. It has no apparent inlet or outlet streams. It is 43% salt.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
The saltiest water body on Earth.
Jeez.
I know. It's amazing.
You could brine some chicken in that. I guarantee you. Just hang your chicken in the lake. It's brine. If you raised chickens next to the lake.
Imagine you went down there and it was just filled with people's chickens. Like
just everybody's brining them.
Just brining them up.
All right. So here's the last email for the week. This is from Chase. All right. So to give you some idea, his name is Chase. To give you some idea, there's a lot of capitalization in this email. He's livid. All right. I am emailing you in the 5 seconds of you saying how disgusting Brian Sanderson's little Kickstarter is. before Lewis and Sip shot this through and defended him. You are 100% right in the fact that it is disgusting and is not some self-publishing win. First off, Brian Sanderson's biggest fan appears to be himself.
Isn't it Brendan?
I've never read him. It's Brian. He says Brian, so I don't
know. Okay.
It is Brendan
I'm getting
Sanderson.
a measure of this email now.
I have never read him, nor will I. But in an ad I saw on YouTube, he said, for all the Brian Sanderson fans in your life, while promoting his get-rich-quick scheme by making money on an unpublished books. He obviously loves himself more than any fan ever could. Another way I see this are the prices on the Kickstarter. While looking to see who it was after the ad, I've never heard of him, I was brought to the page. The prices of the package are absurd. I don't remember exact prices, but they were getting up in there in the hundreds of dollars for the unsigned copies of the book. These 8 other gift boxes you will get will not be worth the money either. Now, you may be using the excess money to help other authors self-publish. I have not done that much research. However, I doubt this. Also, if he's such a prolific and well-known author as Lewis and Sips made him seem, why didn't he cap the Kickstarter like you said, but was shot down, as he does not need the money? This is all a get-rich-quick before he even publishes his shit book scheme. Not sure if you cover this on a live stream or something. Busy college student, can't catch the streams. In short, I agree with your opinion on the Kickstarter and think it is disgusting. Thank you, Chase.
Right. Fuck me, Chase.
I think
that is gold.
Capping the Kickstarter, like the reality is that, you know, if you're getting a book printed, getting a 1,000 is about the same as getting 10,000 printed. Do you know what I mean? The same company is going to just smash them all out for fuck all and mail them out for you. It might take longer if there's more, but not that much longer. I think that's the sort of general
I'm just
perception.
saying, I thought it was funny how angry Chase got.
Oh, it's a great email. I love it. I don't know why I've started replying to it.
If anybody can be bothered articulating their thoughts that well on this subject, then I agree with you. I will just change my mind.
Good man.
Brian, great email.
Yeah.
Was that from Brian or was
Chase?
it?
That was from Chase about Brian. Brian Sanderson.
Brian Sanderson.
Well, his name's Chase and this is actually Brandon. Like, how are they've both got basically the same high school football names.
Chad.
Like,
he just needs to be called Chad or Chance. Oh man.
Yeah.
Hunter.
Anyway, thank you. That was that threw me off. Fantastic. Is there any like updates? I did see one update on something we did talk about before on Triforce. You remember we talked about fucking Axie Infinity, that shitty Philippine game where you have
every week
NFT thing.
This podcast for me is like I'm in the movie Memento. If it's not tattooed on my body, we never spoke about it, honestly.
Same.
Every week it's like a brain wipe.
I get people popping up in chat and making some joke from some old episode.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're just insulting me and I ban them.
Yes.
And then the unban request comes through.
Fuck me, I do that all the time. I don't ban them, but like I'll get offended. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't fucking remember. I don't fucking remember what we said last week.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Why do you think we repeat ourselves? So I don't fucking make notes.
What the hell did we talk about last week?
We're getting worse, though. We are definitely getting worse.
Well, we've done 215 episodes of this show. We're going to repeat ourselves. It's 6 years. You tell me in 6 years?
Too.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a specific
we don't
topic.
have like
we
don't have an outline of talking points or anything here. It's
just like it's like hello, P-Flax, and you're like, oh, do you know who said hello? And then that's what happens.
That's the
It's literally like that bad. Oh, it was raining today. Oh, I remember. It reminds me of a time when it was raining and I was stuck in the rain and I got all wet. My socks got all soaked. There's the whole story there.
You know, I mean, if we'd set a topic, like this week's topic is cooking utensils or whatever, you know, then that would be, we would remember that we'd done all that chat about spoons on that episode.
Man,
go back to the spoons episode or whatever. We're just talking shit.
Speaking of socks getting wet, mine did get wet this week.
What happened?
Well, I was in my backyard and I got a couple of plants from the garden center for the greenhouse because like it's the season now, you know, I want to get some strawberries going. By the way,
I love Sips's greenhouse. Is it still just like a cupboard with glass doors?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's like a super small greenhouse.
It just needs to get seeds going and then they can go outside. But yeah, it works. It's good for us. Anyway.
Can I have a guess about what happened really quickly? And if I'm right, you have to virtually high-five me.
Okay.
All right. So you bought some plants from the garden center, right?
Yeah.
You brought them home.
Uh-huh.
It's been raining a lot here. I don't know if it's raining a lot there. When you went to pick up the plants, all water poured out and got your shoes wet.
No.
Okay,
Close.
we'll carry on them.
Right, so I put them directly into the greenhouse so that they could warm up and be cozy and stuff.
High five.
Yeah, you didn't get a virtual high five for that one. The next day, I came out to water them. I went to access my outdoor water butt, which gets drainage off of the house, from the what do you call those things around your roof?
Gutters.
The gutters.
Right.
It collects all the gutter water. And I went to switch it on
gutter water.
to fill up my can. And there was a brief delay. Because it hadn't been used it'd been dormant
since
all winter.
Yeah, sure. It's probably full of algae or
it was all blocked up, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's all blocked up." And then just as soon as I had that thought, fucking water sprayed everywhere, didn't it? All over my
you
goddamn.
Didn't have the watering can.
And I had my flip flops with my socks on at the time.
What?
Socks got absolutely soaked.
Whoa,
and not just soaked. I was wearing white socks. There was a brownish tint to the soaking as well.
Good. I'm glad this happened to you. Why are you wearing socks and flip-flops? What's wrong with you?
Man, I never leave my house pretty much.
He's
and
like
it's
2
really
meters out of his dad garage.
Never.
He's not gone on a trek down to the local allotment.
But these are the flip-flops with just the big band across the top of the foot. There's no toe separator or anything in there.
It's an open-toed shoe.
Yeah.
You ain't wearing socks. That's the rule.
No one's seeing though. It's not.
He knows he's doing it.
Man, if you ever saw the movie Boys in the Hood, and Ice Cube goes outside in his slippers with his socks on, and
and he dies at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but I didn't die in this case. I just got a little bit of a brown tint on my socks.
That's the equivalent relative to the danger of your neighborhood compared to his. In his rough neighborhood, death.
Yeah.
In your rough neighborhood, wet socks, brown stain on socks.
And a bit of an algae buildup in my butt.
Right. So that's an L for you.
My water butt.
Your butt's not being used for a year.
The butt hasn't been used for a couple of months, so it was a little bit blocked.
I'm just saying, just take the socks off next time. For a start, if I'm doing anything with water in the garden, I ain't wearing fucking trainers and socks and shit out there. I'm putting on shorts and I'm wearing flip-flops.
He was just popping out to quickly do it.
No, he wasn't.
Just popping out.
This is a whole big thing.
I've done it.
I like to wear socks almost all the time. If I'm indoors, there's no way I'm walking around barefoot. It's kind of gross. Because your feet are really sweaty. You don't realize that they are. But you're just leaving foot sweat all over the ground.
Also, as soon as you get kids or pets, this floor is a death trap.
Oh yeah,
there's gonna be some gunk.
I'm stepping on Lego all the damn time.
I'd rather get that on my socks.
If it's not Lego, it's like little Barbie shoes. They always have these little plastic high heels for Barbies. Man, I step on those things all the time, and they really hurt. They can pierce the skin sometimes if they've fallen on the ground the wrong way or whatever, man.
Also, Americans will never know the pain of stepping on a plug, because our British plugs rest with the 3 pins pointing up.
They got a fuse in them though too, right? That's why they're so big.
Fuck you if you step on those. Yeah. Barefoot. At least a sock cushions it a bit.
Yeah,
especially if you've got one of those big home walk around comfy laser. I mean, I've basically not worn much beyond a tracksuit in the last 3 years. Let's be honest.
I'm just in my PJs most of the time.
I mean, I'm wearing tracky bottoms today and a shitty jumper. I mean, fucking, I'm in the office. I came to the office in this shit, and people sort of just are used to it now. I wear flip flops. I mean, I only live 10 minutes walk away, so I just flip flop my way in and fucking hope that no one sees me on the way in. I don't think I don't get stopped very often.
No.
But there's a few pics of me on Twitter of people who've caught me on that 10-minute commute, and I'm like, oh god, I just sort of smile and
pictures of you from far away, sort of thing.
No, they were Carl, do you want to get a picture with me? And I'm like, oh, I guess. I'm not worried about getting a picture with him. I'm just worried that I look awful, which it happens. I try to avoid mirrors these days. It's just sort of a thing.
I just don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a shit how I look or whatever now. I used to probably when I was younger, but I feel the older you get, you let go of a lot of that stuff. I just don't give a
you
shit.
do. There is a brief period of disappointment where you look at your receding hairline, or you look at like your browning teeth or whatever, and you're like, oh,
fuck it, man.
And then
you just got to roll
like
with
a week,
it.
you're like, actually, do you know what? Fuck
you
it.
Just
Mrs. F doesn't look me in the eye anymore, so as long as I avoid her gaze, I can wear whatever I like.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. Right. Well, that just might be the glazed over worry of her own self fears, that we all experience, that own creeping depression that age is wrinkling us and making us more stupid.
Oh man,
Jesus!
Listen,
happy Thursday, everybody.
On a lighter note, I've come to the point now in Married at First Sight Australia where I actually just hate everybody on the show. Like,
wow,
it was always underlying, and I knew it would get to this point.
Even the hosts.
These reality shows, I don't think you're meant to watch them from start to end. Like, usually we give up maybe a week before it ends.
Dip in
because everybody just becomes so insufferable near the end for whatever reason.
That's amazing.
It's happening
that they
now.
Found those people.
It's incredible. It's like I don't know how they do it. Like, it's just it's nuts. It's been a roller coaster this year.
One thing that happened over the last couple of weeks, which might be worth mentioning, is r/place.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what that is, honestly.
No, you place 1 pixel per Reddit account. You get to place 1 pixel. Is that right?
It makes like a big map of like basically little pixel arts.
If you arrange with other people, you can place things to draw a thing. Right. Isn't that how it is?
Yeah, that is it.
So how many pixels do you get to place?
One every like 5 hours or something like that. It's like,
I thought it was like 5 minutes or something.
Or is it 5 minutes?
I don't know. I didn't actually do it. I'm sorry. I can look it up. Wow, I didn't realize I was being asked questions about this.
Well, you brought it up, son. Have you done your research? Have you done your due diligence?
When people are having fun, I actually just get angry. I fucking hate fun.
There are around 2.5 million pixels placed and 6 million people placed a pixel.
Oh, fucking hell. It kind of makes me sick how just Reddit. Just fucking Reddit makes me want to puke. The whole fucking thing. What a shithole.
You weren't even interested in it. Have you not seen the fucking pixel art and stuff? And it
just annoys me. Reddit annoys me. It's like it was this whole thing. I read it all the time, and there's no funny content on Reddit other than reposts from something that actually is funny. Like, Reddit is just a place for people to post funny stuff that happens somewhere else. All I see it as a convenience store where I can go and find clips or announcements or stuff about games that I play or films I'm into or something. There's very little genuinely funny content. When there is, it's so rare, you think these people must be lurking the rest of the time. Because your average Redditor is not funny, they're fucking degenerates, and it's a hive of shit. That's Reddit in a nutshell.
The guy who made r/place was actually the guy who made Wordle.
Wow.
Cool.
His name's Josh Wardle. He made it originally in 2017.
No. His name's not Josh Wardle. You're serious.
His name is Josh Wardle, yes.
Is it actually? Is that how he came up with the name Wordle?
I don't know, maybe.
Do you think maybe he'll do a deed poll and change his name to Josh r/place? Just throwing that out there.
No, so like it's a bit. It was wild. There was a whole journey. Lots of communities, lots of creators doing stuff. There was lots of like flags on there. Yes. There were lots of funny moments that came out of it. There was this great bit where Canada just couldn't make a maple leaf.
I saw that. Wales and then Wales just did the whole dragon like perfectly, right? But Canada just could not.
Yeah, there were loads of good. There were loads of really cool pixel art, loads of like weird things. There was a lot of like communities sort of expressing themselves in really weird ways. And, it was just this whole, I don't know, it was kind of fairly wholesome mostly, and quite fun, like as a thing. It was a really interesting bit of community canvas that is just graffiti, really. But it's amazing how these people can be coordinated to create. But you tend to see them to like coordinate around countries, just so many flags. Like, I hate flags.
He fucking hates flags.
This guy is a true blue flag hater. Like, you'll never meet. In a sense,
like, it is such an easy expression of a nation, right? Rather than grabbing something iconic. I mean, think of what is a. I mean, France have obviously got the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre and a couple of sort of iconic things, right? That they can represent their country
fuck
with.
them. You know what I
but
mean?
Like a lot of countries don't have
fucking
that,
landmarks.
Right?
They're beautiful cities and shit. Fuck off, France. Already, you show offs. Nobody gives a shit about your towers and museums and stuff, okay?
Yeah.
We want to go to Hooters like real men, okay?
Well,
where are your Hooters at, France?
They've opened a new one.
In France?
In this country.
Hooters.
Hooters.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, fuck.
I honestly, when I bring up something like this to you guys, I have no fucking idea what you're gonna say. You know, I didn't know whether you were into it and you'd made your own little area with your community, or whether you had no idea, or whether you were just you thought it was.
If it's
shit.
a big trend on the internet, odds are I hate it. Don't understand it and am immediately annoyed by it.
So let's move on to the second Hooters restaurant, which has been approved for the UK despite a backlash.
Oh.
A second Hooters restaurant will open in the UK despite a fierce backlash.
I'm surprised in 2022 that Hooters are still opening, to be honest. Like that, that amazes
exactly.
me.
People are calling the restaurant degrading,
and
concerns that it could perpetuate a misogynistic environment. Right now, there's only one in Nottingham, of course, which we've all been to, I'm sure.
We've all spoken about, yeah.
I've been there. All that is set to change after plans for a second Hooters venue in Liverpool were approved.
I think
in the face of a major backlash.
They need a I want to say like a sister restaurant chain, but maybe in this case it would be a brother restaurant chain called Honkers. And instead of women with big boobies wearing like basically swimsuits, it could be almost like a Chippendales sort of thing.
Right.
Guys with big knobs. You can't call it
Hooters. You got to call it dongers.
Guys with huge knobs, like just the biggest tackle you've ever seen, hammocked inside like a small Speedo, and then, you know, they serve you food and stuff. Like I feel like if we're going to go one way, we got to go the other way as well.
I agree.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I think it's going to happen. You know, maybe that's actually maybe like Hooters should just have it switch like on days. Like one day I want
the uniform to be a guy in a really, really tight-fitting Speedo with no other clothes on whatsoever and a bow tie. That's what I want. Okay,
that's what we want.
I feel that would be the degrading side for men, right? Like something like that.
I guess the problem is if we go down that route, and I understand why people don't like Hooters, right? If you go down that route of saying, all right, I tell you what, to make it fair, we'll create dongers whose logo is a big bell, because we're just talking about bells. Bells go dong. I don't know what you're talking about, right? Yeah. Nothing to do with penises. Well, just like Hooters. It's just an owl. What are you talking about? Hooters is just an
owl.
So if we get on that route of saying that's fair, what we're saying is anything goes as long as it applies to men and women being misogynistic, or what's the one for men? What do you call it?
I don't know.
The other one. I don't know.
Misandry. Misandry.
It's quite bad that we don't know that.
We don't know.
There
probably isn't even a term, because that's what
it's misandry.
That's how
it's deeply misogynistic.
Yeah, that's how fucked up the whole situation is.
I just forgot it for a second. It's misandry. That's the hatred of men.
Isn't that the name of one of the characters on Game of Thrones? Miss
Andry. I am Miss Andry.
Miss
and
Andre.
I hate men. Ooh, that's on the nose.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I can't remember. I think I was saying that if you have the misandry and the misogyny, and we both allow them to perpetuate in the name of fairness, is actually doubling the unfairness, really.
Well, look, first of all, on the one hand, there's probably 10 strip clubs in Liverpool, right, that no one's complaining about.
I bet they are complaining about it. Strip clubs, Liverpool. I'm Googling. Adult entertainment clubs. Oh, baby. Where do you want to go? Erotic Gentleman Club? Angels Paradise Gentlemen's Club, Exclusive, Erotica, X in the City, Hush, Angels VIP, the Liverpool Escort Agency, or just what else is
Hooters.
there? There's a whole bunch.
We've talked about this because
Rude.
it's right
There's
on that
one
borderline.
called
Rude.
How do you feel? I was going to say, because you remember when Abercrombie and Fitch used to have topless guys outside the stores, right? Who would kind of gatekeep normal men from actually going into
I've no idea that was a thing.
It was a thing for a long time, yeah. And they had this whole, I think it was like 10 years of happening. I think it stopped in about 2015 because it was just a bit. I think they just realized it was like not cool. It was kind of weird to have these sexy men in like malls just hanging out. Do you remember when like clubs like not clubs, like clothing stores were a little bit like clubs as well? They were kind of dark, very dark, so you could barely see like the clothes that you were trying to buy, and they had like dance music.
I wear fucking track pants all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like a thing, dude. Like in these like shops, it was just normal. I mean, it seems so. It was like kind of like a really sticky floor, dingy, weird atmosphere,
right?
That they focused on. It's all gone. It's all gone.
No, it's all replaced by what? The Gap.
Replaced by nothing. Brandon Sanderson signing some books
Brian Sanderson and his fucking get rich quick schemes.
Paper Chase, whatever.
Do you want to hear a story? This is from the Metro. This is a couple of years ago. This young lad, he went on a stag do where he said he was living it large like Pablo Escobar, was how he put it. Sure. Will Turton, 18. He found out he'd spent $3,500 in a strip club.
Oh,
wow. And he looked at his thing the next day, and it's just a list of dances, £120 a time. Sometimes he's having 2 girls at a time, or he's saying, "Yeah, do it again, another £120."
How is that itemized on your bill? Like, what does the transaction come up as?
I'll tell you, it comes out as out of K1. And Ronal Events and Hospitality appears to be what it's called.
Right.
Well, that's their like
that's business name. Yeah.
Okay, but there's no like itemization. Like you can't have a breakdown. Like I want to see where all my money went on this night.
No. It is literally 120, 240, 240 because each of the transactions is listed separately, but it doesn't list the name of the dancer.
So I've googled out of K1, right. And I've got a Reddit post from 5 years ago where this guy says, "I don't remember what happened from 7:30 p.m. till maybe 4:10 a.m. But I was charged by somewhere from out of K1 for 260 quid.
Holy crap!
Does anyone know what this is?"
What does 260 quid get you? At,
no one comments
nowadays
what it is.
Well, I tell you, it's 120 quid a dance. This is the funniest part. He went to the strip club. He was in there at 4 p.m. Hours pass.
Having
and he leaves the club.
The dinner buffet and stuff.
Right, but this is my favorite part. Out. He's in there at 4 p.m. Hours pass, and he leaves the club roughly 1 a.m. feeling a bit worse for wear and reckons he's been spiked. He's in there for 9 hours. He drank a lot of booze, I'm going to say.
I don't think you drink that much at a strip club. Like, every time I've been to a strip club, the alcohol is very expensive, and most of the people that you go with end up buying one drink and nursing the crap out of it, like, all night.
Yeah.
But man, 120 pounds for a dance is crazy. Like,
I mean, he should just have gone to the Flying Scotsman, pound time. Job done.
Fucking hell, man. 120 pounds.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Jesus.
At the fancy ones, they do
It would
charge
have to be a really
money.
fucking shit hot dance for 120 pounds. Like,
I've been to a Spearmint Rhino once, and I think the dances were 100 quid a pop. And it's like, it's a stag do thing. You've all gone there prepared to be debauched and do this kind of stupid, expensive shit.
Sure.
I mean, but there are people that are clearly in there all the time. I know that the ones in London, it's a lot of money like that for the VIP ones.
And I'll admit, I've been to strip clubs, but I've never had like a private dance or anything. I always just thought that would be awkward as fuck. Like,
wait, so you're just there by the side of the stage, tucking the
pretty
bills
much,
into
and
the pants.
only really there just because the people I'm with were very insistent on going.
Right.
I would never like seek one out on my own, or like offer it up as a destination if I was going out with friends or whatever.
Right.
Like, I've just kind of reluctantly happened to be in strip clubs
it feels
in my
like
life.
Such a throwback, though, doesn't it? It really doesn't. If they came up with it now, I think you might be able to pitch it as some kind of
I think the only time I willingly went was one year when we were all turning 18. We drove to Quebec, which was like 15-minute drive for us, because you can get into strip clubs legally when you're 18 in Quebec. Or at least that used to be the case.
Strippers.
So we were like, it was kind of like jokingly like, hey, fuck yeah, okay, let's go to the strip club, and we all went.
Right.
And it was funny. Like it was a fun night because, you know, a lot of us had just turned 18 and it was just, you know, it was a bit of fun or whatever. But that's like, I think that's the only time I kind of willingly went to one. And every other time in my life that I've been, which is like, I could probably count on one hand, has always been with a group of people that were very drunk already, and we just stumble into these places. But like, I don't think anybody really necessarily wanted to be there. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just not cool enough, like, to do it, to go. I don't know. I just never felt like, I just felt like they'd like laugh at me, and I can't deal with that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And even if they weren't actually laughing at me, I'd see the laughter.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so they start.
God, that sounds awful. I sound like some incel.
They start
awful
dancing
guy.
And like bumping and grinding on you. What are you doing? You're just sitting there, like, oh man, this weather is nuts today, huh? Like, what do you talk to them, or you just sit there and not make a sound? Out, like, it's fucking awkward, man. I don't know.
So my butt's all blocked up. I went in the garden to try and clean it out.
I want to see my sock. It's got brown. I didn't change them. I didn't have a chance. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it just suddenly unlocked and bust all over my foot. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Fuck me. I don't know. Like, I guess some people really do go to these places a lot or whatever, and you know, really get dances and stuff. For me, I always just thought it would just be way too awkward. Like, I've never even.
Yeah. I can't. It fascinates me, though. I always want to watch a documentary about the people who go to this. This is what TV's for, right? It's to let you experience these weird worlds without actually having to go there yourself. And you realize how normal it is, and everyone is there, right? Like Louis Theroux going to some weird fucking place. Everyone's just normal people trying to get through their lives, and they're like, yeah. And all the patrons are all fairly normal people, or like slightly lonely people. You know, it's like...
we should do a vid where we go to a strip club.
Yeah, we should do like an on the road segment and try out some of these things that we just like have never really tried before.
Go to Dongers.
We go to a
we could go to a
Hooters
for an afternoon hot dog.
We could go to a Spearmint Rhinos or whatever it's called, white glass tigers, or
does Hooters like serve like sexy food?
No, it doesn't.
It's like sports food, right? Like people go there, watch sports, and eat wings.
Yeah, it's wings and ribs and burgers.
It just happens to be served by somebody wearing a bathing suit, more or less.
But we're going to promise you the longest piece of hot meat between two buns that you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah,
that's a donger's promise.
That's a donger,
like a jumbo, like a 10-inch hot dog kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is that what we're suggesting?
We're talking 2-foot 12-inch dogs.
We're talking a 30-footer of meat, like the party sub at Subway.
3 feet of meat between your buns. That's our hot dog, and we bring it out on a huge tray. There's your meat. Man,
there's some other stuff that we could do though that's not that's not like related to any of this stuff, right? Like maybe going for like hike up a mountain. We could like hike up Mount Snowdon or something like that, right? Or at least attempt to. Maybe even just turn up at the base and decide not to or something.
And then go to the pub.
And then go to the pub and get a lap dance. Yeah.
Thing is, like, we'd be on the first like wall, and P-Flax would just cut us loose and be like, "I'm going home."
I'm no quitter, mate. No, I'm not going to give up on the lads.
He's a rise to the challenge. I would quit, however. I am a quitter.
I'll give it a bloody good go.
I will not. I will think about it and analyze it, overanalyze it, talk myself out of it, and play video games all day.
I just wouldn't agree to do it in the first place.
Nah.
My mates did a thing where they went up Snowdon. They said it was a miserable experience because I think it was raining and they weren't well equipped.
Yeah.
But I would just say I don't want to do that. But if I turn up, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's it. If I commit to do it, I'm going to do it.
If you're there,
but I'm just going to say no.
If you've made it to the destination,
but I'm just going to make the wise decision that we should not do this straight out of the gate. I'm just saying,
right?
Let's not. Do that.
We should. I mean, there's options, isn't there? Like, oftentimes I get offered. There's, I don't know. Some of my friends are like, "Oh, we're going on holiday, and we're going to stay in a hostel." I'm like, I'm not fucking staying in a hostel. Are you kidding me? Get out of here.
Right.
You know,
I ain't staying in no fucking hostel. Take the S out.
I'm not a teenager.
All right, listen to this before we wrap up, okay? We'll end on a lighter note. My 6-year-old daughter comes home from school the other day, and she says that she's a Catholic. Okay, we're not religious at all, by the way.
Okay, so that's like declaring that you're a vegetarian, isn't it?
We got double teamed on this one. So she comes home and she says, "I'm a Catholic." Because we said you can't do that. She said, "I can do that. I can do it if I want to because I'm Catholic." And we said, "Okay, fine, you're Catholic, whatever." Like we just, you get to the end of your rope with this stuff very quickly. So she's doing some arts and crafts or something, and she was like holding the glue. She was talking to my son and holding the glue, but like the glue was tipping. And we were like, come on now, like you're going to get glue all over the place. And then she sort of...
Catholics don't do that.
She sort of adamantly turned around and she was like, no, I'm not going to, okay? I have it under control. And anyway, I can do that if I want to. And we said like, no, you can't. We don't want glue all over the table. You can't do that if you want to. And my son turned around and said, she can do anything she wants. She has God on her side. Because of the Catholic comment. This is what we're contending with.
God almighty.
Fuck me, man.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so good.
I don't even do religious studies at their school, as far as I know. So I don't know where the fuck this is all coming from.
I'll tell you where it's come from, mate. Some bloomin' Catholic at the school that converted them.
Some sort of recruiter.
They're always out and about. They're always looking.
I don't know.
I'm very suspicious of these people, religious people.
Does she want to be a nun?
I'll tell you what, I had a friend at college. When I was at college doing my A-levels, there was a guy I was friends with. We both were doing our A-level together. He was a good mate. Like, we were hanging out a lot. We were talking a lot. He was a really good guy. We really got along really well. And I overheard him.
He wanted to be a nun.
I overheard him having a conversation with another friend of his who I knew was a big-time Christian. That he was looking to convert me. No, there were no nuns. He was trying to convert me. He's like, I've almost got him. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm just your mate because you want to fucking...
You're not supposed to say that to them.
Tick me off. I heard him. I didn't say anything. That was what he was saying to his mate, that he was
He's going to save his soul, P-Flax.
Fuck off. Get the fuck out of my private life, you Christian cunt. I've got no time for you. That's what you should say to your daughter.
Man, I regret not saying that now. I realize that that's an option. Yeah. It was funny, though. It was very funny.
That is really funny. We were laughing.
But
I like
it.
I'm telling you, someone there is putting the cold hand of religion on them right now, trying to convert them. That's all they care about.
Oh,
their fucking docket with God is going to say, oh, yeah, that's one for you.
We
look well when you get to the pearly gates. They don't give a shit. They just want it for their personal advancement in the afterlife.
We got the Jehovah's Witnesses over here too. This is somehow a destination for them. Like we get the door-to-door Jehovah's Witnesses over here.
Well, you're very nice.
No, they're not. Yeah, but the Jehovah's Witnesses aren't nice. They're not doing it to be your friend. They're doing it because to get an in with God.
Not just that. They just want a free lunch, man. They want to come in and sit at your table and eat your food and drink your tea and stuff as well. Like I've seen them operate.
You invite them in?
I don't. I know like of people who have though.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Too polite. People are too polite. They can't say no.
Inviting these door-to-door soul salesmen in.
I know.
They're selling you a lie for their own benefit. How do you think
they make so much fucking money, man? There's people out there that entertain them for sure. Like
no way. They give them money?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know.
Oh my, what the fuck is wrong with people? Stop falling for the con, folks. Stop.
Yeah.
It's a con. Please stop.
It's been a con for 2,000 years, dude, and it's going to be a con for 2,000 years more. Like, there's no way that people I think that what I've learned is that humanity doesn't really ever get smart enough to stop this stuff,
the cons,
right? Like happening, to fall for these tricks.
We fall
right?
for cons all the time.
Oh, we do.
No, but we by the time we were old enough to stop falling from the cons, it doesn't matter because it's like evolution, right? We're always gonna.
Are you calling evolution a con?
No, I'm saying that because
Lewis is he's actively evolving right now. Like you can just see the development happening. It's just.
I'm too stupid. I'm saying that we're all too stupid for too long. Like I was stupid when I was 15 and 25 and 35, and I will be when I'm 45. I'm 38.
Holy crap, man! You're getting old.
I was very stupid.
Where did all that time go, huh? Jeez.
And I'm going to fall for cons and tricks.
You had the fucking turtleneck and the frosted tips and everything. It felt like yesterday. And now look at you. Fucking old and washed up, 38 years old. What the fuck?
I'm like a...
Get off our podcast.
Really old fuck. I'm going to go away and become a fucking nun.
Oh, my God,
I'm going to become a Catholic.
Oh, my God.
I've always wanted to live in a monastery.
Well, you'll have God on your side at least.
You know what my dad always used to say? Whenever, you know the way a lot of old people suddenly start going to church and stuff like that, right? Like, my dad always said they're cramming for their finals. That's what he would say.
Oh,
That's
yes.
it. They're just trying to get there so that it's like, when they die, they're just like, they're hedging their bets just in case.
Just in case there is a heaven and hell and they just want to be on the right side of it.
I'm saying if there is, God's going to know when I turn up. He's going to look at my soul and be like, look, I know you didn't believe in me, and you actively, in fact, spoke out against people that were trying to convince people of my existence. You are damned.
You're an unbeliever. You know what your personal hell's going to be? Flax, an eternity of entertaining Jehovah's Witnesses in your fucking kitchen, man. You're going to have to make them sandwiches. Just having to talk about
God and shit.
Eating all of your goddamn food and drinking all your tea. It'll be like the tiger who came for tea, the children's book, but instead of a tiger, it's Jehovah's Witnesses, and they drink all the water out of the tap, so you can't even have a bath. They drink all your beer. Yeah, that's right.
Really
they eat all the ice buns and shit.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the fucking to go up to heaven, and it turns out it was fucking Odin, or do you know what I mean, or Hindu. Vishnu's there, and he's like, guess you were born in the wrong fucking continent. Right. Down to hell with you.
Off you go. Exactly.
It's bullshit.
Not me,
the whole
man.
thing
I'm
is
going
just,
up. I'm going up to heaven, and I'm gonna be smoking weed with Jimi Hendrix every fucking day, man.
Man, if he's fucking, imagine he might be God. You never fucking know. Elon Musk might be God. We don't know. It could be.
Can you imagine?
I hope not.
Can you imagine?
I hope not.
Yeah, who knows? He froze his brain.
What if
he went
you
into
get
the future?
there?
He made a simulation.
What if you
we're
get
living
to heaven?
in it.
You get to heaven and everybody's talking about crypto. Can you imagine that? They're
my
all
God.
just into
They're all playing Axie
imagine
Infinity.
you
They're
get
all
to
making
heaven.
NFTs of God.
Imagine you get to heaven, and for an eternity, you have to work with Elon Musk to devise ways to rescue children from a submerged tunnel
and accuse the other rescuers of being pedos.
Yes.
Which
Can
is
you
the thing
fucking imagine? That would be a hell, wouldn't it?
That would be quite something.
I bet you a signed dollar bill is a nonce or something. Whatever he said on fucking Twitter. So, idiot.
Regarding the Axie Infinity, the news story I had was that the hackers have broken in and stolen $620 million from it. And it's the biggest crypto theft ever. $620 million.
So on the day that story broke,
of course you have, because that's crypto, isn't it?
What were the little things they had to make?
Scammed. It's inevitable.
What were the little things they had to make?
The little things called Axies. They're like little fucking blobs.
So
they're like little fish.
On the day that news broke,
and you have to breed them.
On the day that news broke, some guy who's got all these is like, "You mean my Axies are worthless? If only he'd come to this realization earlier." Yes.
A week earlier.
Yes, they are worthless. Yeah. Please stop. Please.
Fuck me. So yeah, that's the news.
Listen, there's two more bits of news actually. One relevant to us. Doc Cotton passed away.
Yeah, rip.
And George Costanza's mum in Seinfeld also passed away. They were both like 95 years old. Yeah, they were both pretty old.
Wow,
yeah.
She was still going. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, in NFT news, by the way, there's now a asteroid mining like startup NFT. Can you believe it? Like,
yes.
We've reached the fucking asteroid mining.
Yeah.
Wait, how is that an NFT?
Well, you sort of you put a specific you buy these like exploration tokens. Right?
What?
And this I don't. It's bullshit, P-Flax. Of course it is. It's just scams for people who want to get rich quick or feel like they're missing out on the if I could still get into NFTs, it's not too late. No, it's all a lot of nothing.
Fucking hell.
Don't do it.
I give up.
Do not do it.
I give up. I don't want to think about it.
No. Just invest in dongers and hooters instead.
Yeah, get in on board. Get in on the ground floor of dongers.
Yeah,
we call them donks.
The ground floor is where it is actually sticky though, and it's got sort of it's a bit sticky.
So it's just the floors are just plastered in cum. It's disgusting. I don't. Gross.
All right, that's enough. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.